Well, Donald Trump's hush money trial on break today, usually on break on Wednesdays, and the former president is taking full advantage by headlining a fundraiser in Ohio. Senator J.D. Vance will attend. He's considered a possible option for Trump's vice president, but he's not the only one on the list. Several others, like South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, and South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, and former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy are vying for the top spot. They threw a fundraising dinner for Trump in New York City last night after another day of dramatic testimony from Michael Cohen. His testimony against Trump included an audio recording and a paper trail to back up his claim of an attempted cover-up before the 2016 election. But Trump's attorneys say Cohen is an opportunist and motivated by vengeance. So joining me now in Studio 57 for more on Cohen's testimony is CBS News campaign reporter and attorney Katrina Kaufman. All right, Katrina. So Cohen wrapped up his testimony for the prosecution, and then he had to take on Donald Trump's attorneys. How did that go? How did he fare? During the prosecution, he was a pretty calm witness. How did it go once cross-examination started?
He was strikingly calm even during the cross-examination, and Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche, was really trying to shake him right out of the gate, throwing a pretty derogatory statement that Cohen had made about Blanche, the attorney, at him as the first question. And it was almost comical because he would say these like really kind of terrible comments that Cohen had made about Trump, and Cohen would just very calmly sit there and say, "That sounds like something that I would say." So he really kept his composure. He wasn't shaken yet. We are probably going to see an entire other day of cross-examination on Thursday. But as you said, so far they're trying to portray him as motivated by vengeance. They said that he wants to see Trump behind bars, and Cohen even admitted that he wants to see accountability and he does want to see Trump in jail. They showed how as recently as last week he was wearing merchandise that he sells about Trump, you know, Trump behind bars on a T-shirt. This is something that he sells on his website, how he's made all of this money off of his stories about Trump in his books, on his podcast, so that he really has a financial motivation here. Yeah. And then, of course, that they want to show Michael Cohen as someone who cannot be trusted. He has a history of admitting to committing perjury under oath on the stand. He's admitted to lying to Congress. And so much of this testimony, of course, hinges on whether the jury believes certain key conversations that Michael Cohen had with Donald Trump that directly tie Trump to the scheme. So Trump's attorneys want the jury to feel like Michael Cohen is someone who has a history of lying and could be lying to them now.
So the prosecution put on a host of other witnesses, though, before Michael Cohen. And as we mentioned in the lead up, this is sort of like a paper trail kind of case. And of course, Michael Cohen was out there recording people as well. How much of a linchpin is this, right? At the center of the prosecution's argument. How dependent is it on the jury to believe Michael Cohen, or with all this other stuff, does it even matter if they believe Michael Cohen?
I think that's a really good question. And there are certain conversations that the jury needs to believe where Michael Cohen says, for example, there was a very crucial meeting he talked about with Alan Weisselberg and Donald Trump, where they laid out this payment scheme. It was even on a First Republic Bank document, which was the bank he used for the wire transfer to Keith Davidson, which was Stormy Daniels' attorney who gave her the money. And so he said during that meeting, Trump said that he approved it. But as you said, the prosecution, it's been really interesting to watch, almost like them putting a puzzle together with all of these witnesses and documents and texts. So while Cohen was on the stand, so much of what he talked about, we had actually seen this evidence before, but from the other side, because Cohen was a party to many of these interactions, phone calls, text messages, conversations with the witnesses that we've already seen. So in a lot of ways, what he's saying on the stand has been corroborated by so many different people.
And just like really quickly, Trump had a lot of supporters in the courtroom. They all sat in the front row looking right at Cohen, and then they all went outside and went straight to the microphone. How much does it seem like some of these supporters, including the Speaker of the House, were kind of doing some of the stuff that Trump would like to do himself but can't get away with?
I mean, they are absolutely Trump surrogates in court and then going outside and saying things that Trump is not allowed to say under this gag order. But it was also almost comical because we noticed that a number of them were dressed exactly the way that Trump normally dresses, in his navy suit, white shirt, red tie, almost as though they're showing their support for him and they're mirroring him.
I can't wait till Thursday. Katrina, thank you very much.
Thanks, Anne Marie.